Where do they process visas? Really great question. Lots of people ask me this. To get started, let's start with some of the basics. So firstly, when you're lodging a partner visa or a prospective marriage visa, what we'll look at is it an offshore application or an onshore application. Now, making a decision, that's something that the migration agent should usually do for you. It's not something that everybody has a choice on. Offshore means a visa, so a prospective marriage visa or a partner visa that's lodged while the applicant is outside of Australia, physically outside of Australia, immigration cleared as outside of Australia. Onshore applications are applications that are lodged when you're physically inside Australia. Now, which of those visas you lodge and which of those visas is the best fit for you isn't something that we'll discuss today. And again, that's something that you really want a migration agent to make an assessment on, because there's lots of different things that need to be factored into that to make sure that it's the right fit and visa journey for you. Once that's decided, so if you're lodging an offshore application, where is that going to be processed? That's going to be processed in most cases at an Australian embassy that's nearest to your country of location. So there's an Australian embassy in London, there's an Australian embassy in Ottawa, there's an Australian embassy in Dubai, in Bangkok, lots of places all around the world. Now, in terms of processing times for the offshore applications, generally what we're seeing in practice at the moment, and what you'll see is the Department of Immigration advertising as well, if you are opting for offshore lodgement, your visa is likely to be processed a lot quicker than onshore applications. Now, the advantages of lodging an offshore application are that the processing times, in my experience, particularly at the moment, are much quicker. In addition to that, it means that you're going to be entering into Australia as the holder of a substantive visa. Now, what that often means is, and this isn't migration advice, this is something that I've heard from so many of the couples that we've looked after. Generally speaking, my clients have reported back to me that they find better job outcomes when they are entering onto a substantive visa, entering into Australia and job seeking on a partner visa or prospective marriage visa, as opposed to the pathway that you might find yourself on if you're lodging an onshore partner visa, which I'll now explain. So with an onshore partner visa, when that's lodged, the applicant's inside Australia, and in most cases a bridging visa will be granted to allow them to stay in Australia while they're waiting for the decision to be made. And right now you're in Australia waiting for a really, really long time if you're applying onshore. So the government advertised processing times do fluctuate. At the moment, when I checked this morning, it was 23 to 30 months. So that's years, guys. It's a long time to be on a bridging visa. The good thing is, when you're lodging an onshore visa, if your partner is the Australian and already settled in Australia and you are someone who's able to apply onshore, you get to be together in the processing times. The bad news is you're waiting all that time for an outcome. And there's that worry of, when's it going to be granted, when will this be finished? Sometimes it puts a hold on other decisions that you make in life. Some of my couples, the couples that I look after, might be family planning, might be wanting to invest in a family home, might be job hunting, and find that when they're in that temporary period on a bridging visa, those kind of plans are sometimes put on hold for some couples. Now, in terms of the onshore option, again, the benefit is you're together in the processing times. You have that bridging visa. If you do want to go overseas, it can't be spontaneous. It does need to be pre-planned so that you can get the right visa, the right bridging visa to allow you to exit and enter the country. Where are the onshore partner visas processed? At Australian Department of Immigration offices around Australia. So for Queensland, there's one in Brisbane. For New South Wales, there's one in Sydney. Which is faster in terms of locations around Australia? I think they're all kind of similar in my experience. The reason that the onshore applications, in my opinion, are substantially slower than offshore is because the Department of Immigration has absolutely no control over how many people come into Australia and lodge onshore partner visas. Loads of people enter into Australia on student visas, visitor visas, ETA, which is a type of holiday visa, and all lodge onshore applications. So while the Department of Immigration no doubt work as efficiently as possible, they have huge volumes of onshore applications to process. So if you're at the point where you're deciding onshore or offshore, firstly get advice to see if both of them are an option, and the other factors to consider in making that decision are What would the impact be of being offshore during the processing? What would the impact be of being on a bridging visa for an extended period if you do apply onshore? Lots of things to think about. Best to get advice on this one.